So today we're going to be looking at scatter charts. So we're going to go through this data that you're seeing on my screen, which is a change management data set. So it shows me that there is a bunch of people in different departments, and they're led by these folks that are listed in column A, and this is the number of employees they have within that department. And then the change impact of the change that we're doing for these people, which is led by these people, is there's a score right there. So it gives you that score. And then the level of influence these people have is there's a score from 1 to 5 over here. This is a set of data that I got from a friend of mine who was trying to create a bubble chart or a scatter chart that's dynamic. So I was like, okay, let me try and see if I can, come up with a way that you can do this in Excel really easily. So you just have to change the scores and it'll automatically update the location on the chart for you. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how this is done. In the meantime, if you guys could please subscribe and like the video, share this with anybody who's looking to do something similar. There's various applications for this. This is just one application that I thought of given I was trying to help my friend out. So let's go through this. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want to select our data, which is this here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into Insert and we're going to find our chart. So I'm going to click on this little recommended charts icon because I always like to start off there. Then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find Scatter. And I'm going to pick this 3D chart type, which I really like. It's the 3D bubble. I think it looks better when you're presenting it to anybody. So I'm going to select that. So now I've got my basis here. So I took this and then I showed it to my friend and I said, okay, so what are you looking for truly? So then she told me that she's looking for the x-axis to be the level of influence and the y-axis to be the impact of change. So I'm looking at the impact of change. I want that to be my y-axis. Level of influence, I want that to be my x-axis. And then I said to her, I'm like, well, why don't we make the size of the bubble based on the number of people there are in that department? So she said, yep, that'll work. So I'm going to change this to my bubble size. Or if you want to look at it, you can even refer to this as your z-axis. Okay, so now that you've got that done there, so what we want to do is now we want to adjust our axis because it's not really what she wanted. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to select data by right-clicking on the graph itself, and I'm going to click on this edit button here. So it gives me all of the different things that I want in this particular chart. So I want my x-axis to be the level of influence. So there you go. Oh, and sorry, I pressed another key here. So there you go. And then I want my y-axis in here to be this portion, the impact of change. And I want my bubble size, like I said, to be the number of people. So that's this going to be my bubble size. So there we go. So I've got my chart looking somewhat where I want it to go to. And then what I want to do is I also want to have my axis to be labeled the way that I want it to be. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to put in the different chart elements. So I want my axis titles to be there. I also want my vertical axis and my horizontal one. My vertical one, I'm going to call that impact of change. So I'm going to plug that in there. And I want my horizontal axis to be the level of influence. I'm going to plug that in there. So now I've got both my horizontal and my vertical axis labeled in there. So it's still not what she really wanted. So she wanted it to also have quadrants and color coding for individual bubbles, and we haven't even labeled our bubbles. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay. So the thing she wanted for the quadrants is she wanted to make sure that all four sides, the way that she does her change management plan is she wanted all four sides to have these labels in there. So she wanted this group of people to be satisfied, and these people she needed to keep them closely informed. These people in this quadrant she wanted to monitor, and these people in this quadrant she wanted to just keep them informed. So when she had this divided up into 4 quadrants, I was like, okay, well, there's a different way that we can create those quadrants. The way that I came up with is I said, okay, I can just draw these lines in the chart itself so she can see how each one of these people are divided up into the four quadrants, how all of these departments are divided up. So she gets to see that. So I'm just going to also change the title here. We'll call it Change Management Plan. So now it's kind of getting to where she wanted to get to. So here, these are the folks that she wanted to monitor. There's no one that falls in. Here, she wanted to keep these folks informed, and this is the level of influence and the number of employees that they have in there. So it kind of gives her an idea of what to do. The other thing she wanted to get done in here is she also wanted to have each one of these folks, they belong to certain departments. So she also wanted to have them color coded in there. And she wanted to know easily when she's looking at the chart as to who is within each of those areas. So I just messed that up. So I'm going to clean that up for a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the values that she wanted to put in for the departments with the colors that she wanted. So here we go. So these are the different colors that she has corresponding to each group in there. So we want to, before we do that, what we're going to do is we're also going to add in the labels of who's who. So she also wanted to know which bubble is led by what person for that department. So these are our department head names. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to click on chart design, add element. We're going to also add in data labels. So I'm going to click on more data label options. And because I don't want it from the X or the Y values, I want it to be from specific cells. I'm going to select value from cells, select these cells, and I'm going to press OK, and voila, there we go. We've got all of our department heads listed with the bubbles. Now, the other thing she wanted to do was she wanted to color code these bubbles so she can see which department heads are with which group and where they fall under. So didn't really have a automated way of doing this, but because I color coded them before, I just basically went in and I selected the colors. So Bert falls into the management for projects. Bert is green, so we put in Bert as green. Ernie is looking like Ernie is going to be orange. So we're going to put orange in there for Ernie because Ernie belongs to the management for the ops group. Joe is in supply chain. Supply chain is this yellow color. So we're going to plug that in. And then we've got Simon. Simon looks like they're blue. So we're going to leave them blue there. And then Mary looks like she's also in supply chain. We're going to color that into this orange color. So it's kind of looking like it's coming together, and we've got a way of showing for this set of stakeholders where they fall into the change management plan and how we can keep them going. So this has a bunch of different applications. Use it as you feel. This data is, I use this data as the change management data. You can use it for any kind of data, divide it up the way that you want. If you guys have suggestions on how I can improve this chart for my friend, please add that in the comments. As always, please like and share and subscribe. I'm looking forward to getting more ideas from everybody. So if you've got more questions on how to do certain things in Excel, I'm happy to figure it out, and I'll post a video so you guys get an answer and you can use that in anything that you do in your daily lives. Thank you for watching.